Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Jack, the muscle and mobility maker with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today, I'm going to be showing you how to build a strong, healthy, pain-free neck. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine. It doesn't get better than that. So take advantage of it. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into this one. All right, like I said, today I'm going to be showing you how to build a strong, healthy, pain-free neck. But before we get right into the exercises themselves, I do want to make sure that there's a few really well understood facts about your neck health overall. The first of that is going to be the fact that your neck health is highly dependent upon your shoulder health and your arm, and vice versa. So if there's issues downstream at your periphery in the arm there, then that could be also driving some of the issues that you're having closer to the neck, or vice versa. If you have issues in the arm, it could actually be coming from your neck itself. So we want to understand that interconnectedness between the actual cervical spine and the structure of our arm and how that actually functions, including how the musculature is connecting to our collarbone, which is connected to our sternum, how it's connected to our scapula, which is connected to our rib cage, and again, down and out into the arm. So just having that idea of your neck is also your shoulders, and your shoulders are part of your neck, is very important to understand in the first place here. So get that in your head. The second one that I really want to bring to the attention is that your breathing can also impact the health of your neck, and how you breathe is very important. So it's very important to understand how to correctly diaphragmatically breathe, how to actually breathe through your nose, nasal breathing only quite regularly, and how to actually place the tongue and jaw. So if you even have tongue and jaw issues, this could be driving some of the symptoms that you get through your neck and issues that you have there. So those are two of the most important things that I really wanted to bring to the forefront and just put out there in the first place. That if you have issues in any of those areas, they're worth addressing because they're probably feeding into what you're experiencing up at your neck. All right? Keep that in the back of your mind here as we're working. Now, I'm going to take you through some different exercises. First of all, we're going to look at some basic versions of good places to begin. This is stuff that will help you if you have cervical bulging discs. It'll help you if you have stenosis of the spinal column, issues like that, or if you just have a stiff neck in general. So just these are things that can be beneficial across the board as far as building overall health around your cervical spine. And it is a matter of actually scaling these things properly and putting them into good practice regularly to help you really resolve the issues that you're experiencing and overall mitigate the risk of any further injury or anything like that down the road as well. So the order that we're going to be doing things here is I'm going to show you some basic no equipment positions you can begin with. We're going to show you some banded work you can do to actually provide space to the spinal column and help it move better overall, improve the way that the joints are functioning there at the cervical spine. We'll show you some self-myofascial release work, and then we'll give you some strengthening exercises as well. Ready? Let's go ahead and get into it. It's going to be a big one. All right, one of the best places to begin with is some diaphragmatic breathing positions here, just to get our breath right in the first place. And we're going to place our neck in some different positions. So lying on your back on a mat, first of all, we're going to place our shoulders down and back. So I'm driving my elbows into the floor, rolling my shoulder blades down and back, placing one hand on my chest, one hand on my abdomen. This is so I could feel my belly rising and falling and my chest staying rather still, ensuring that I am doing diaphragmatic breathing. Now you'll notice that I've lengthened my neck out by tucking my chin to my chest. I want to imagine almost trying to flatten the back of my neck to the floor as I hold this position. From there, my tongue is tucked behind my teeth. Okay, my jaw is gently shut, and then I'm nasally breathing only. This is going to activate my diaphragm the most and my parasympathetic nervous system. So this can be a very valuable thing when it comes to breathing overall. Learning how to tuck your tongue to the spot behind your front two teeth at the top, gently suctioning it to the top of your mouth, keeping your jaw gently shut, and then nasally breathing only. Next, we're going to rotate from side to side. So here I've placed my ear to the mat and I'm letting it just help settle me into this position. Now these might feel a little bit challenging at first with the rotation. That's okay, slowly make your way out of it after you feel you can no longer comfortably stay there and move over to the next side. And your goal is to gradually build time in these positions. Another diaphragmatic position I like to use is internal rotation of the shoulder. Again, we're connecting in what's going on at your shoulders and arms and making sure that we have some work down below as well. And again, diaphragmatic breathing can help us restore these positions because we're not in that fight or flight state holding tension that we might normally hold. So what I do is lift my back so I can place one arm all the way underneath as if I'm grabbing the other arm behind me. I want to keep my abs braced here, so partially I'm feeling my abdomen rising and falling, my breath here with my hand on the stomach, but I'm also using that to help keep my abs braced. Naturally, if you're doing diaphragmatic breathing well, it's going to help you breathe and brace well at the same time also. So that should be coming along with the breath. We want to do one arm at a time on each side, and then we're going to do both arms as well. Here, again, just focusing with that same tongue and tooth position, jaw lightly closed, and then keeping my chin gently tucked to the chest as I'm breathing, keeping my shoulder blades pulled down and back, opening up the chest as much as possible, and setting the shoulders in a good position. All right, next we're going to be getting into some traction and banded distractions for your cervical spine. Here I have my band anchored at about hip height on a post, and I'm placing it at the base of my skull just above my ears. Roll your shoulder blades down and back, keep them anchored in that good position, and then from there we're doing different head movements, and you can have a lot of free play here, really just to move around your neck and allow the band to pull it in gentle positions, lengthening the spine and creating space as you move. So you might feel a lot of little Rice Krispies getting worked out while this band is pulling, and it's good to use the resistance. So actually flex against the resistance of the band for 5 seconds or so, and then relax and let it pull on you. So you kind of give and take in that. That can help free up any of those positions that are a little bit hard to move through for you as well. Once we do that, we can also move it a little bit lower below the ears at the base of the, or at the neck here, just below the skull, I should say. So this is going to be our higher cervical range that we're working. And again, just kind of keeping with different movements, allowing the band to kind of hold the neck and cup it. And it feels pretty good, actually. All right, while we have that band at hip height, we're going to move it to our shoulder here next, with our arm internally rotated behind our back. You can start with some scapular movements and some rolling of the shoulder. This will help you contract and relax against that band, so flex against it for a few seconds and then relax and let it stretch you deeper into a position. And you'll also notice that I'm playing with head movements here. This will get Rice Krispies out at the neck as well that you might not have known could be coming from the shoulder. So play with the movements that provide a nice stretch, a good feel, and go from there. Again, contract, relax against the band, and settle into a good stretch. Then move the band down to the hand and wrist here. So it's at the back of the wrist, between the fingers here, anchored in. And then again, turn away so that you're internally rotated with the band pulling your arm across your back. This is going to get a lot of that top of the shoulder, those tissues that are running right into the shoulder from your neck there. Trapezius, levator scap, and then even into the deltoids and around that range. So take your time. Again, you can pull against the band for a few seconds and relax in, letting it take you deeper as you play with different neck positions and movements here. Next, we're going to detach the band and work the lower range of the cervical spine where it connects with the thoracic spine. Take a band that's about 50 to 75 pounds. You don't have to use your thickest one here. I'm just using it since it was there and available already. But we want something that's at least about 1 inch in width that we're using. So drape it over your shoulders like a towel. Pull those shoulder blades down and back into the floor. Get them rolled into a good position, opening up your chest, and then pull the band down. Your triceps will get some work. While you're here with that pulling down direction, you can play with rolling the head back and forth, yeses and nos, nodding, different movements with the neck once again. This is going to put a little bit of decompression on that spine and it feels quite good. Now from there, we're going to anchor one side down as we pull the other side out, straightening the arm out to the side long. Now when I do this, I rotate my head in the opposite direction of the pull, okay? So pay attention to that, that's very important. We want to you almost use the band to help roll our head in the opposite direction. For the last one of this series, I'm going to take the band and cross it over. So one is down low across my chest, and the other is going to come up high to the outside of my jaw. So you can see it's got this spiraling around my neck. I'm going to keep my jaw lightly clenched here so I can keep my good alignment of the jaw, tongue in a good position yet, nasally breathing, and then I'm going to pull the back of my forearm and wrist to the floor, helping myself rotate as I keep the traction pulling down from the band, okay? So I want that band pulling down across my body so that it's providing space as I rotate, and then I'm using the band to assist the rotation here. Next, we're going to use some different self-myofascial release techniques here as well. So here I'm using a lacrosse ball at my suboccipitals. So this is right at the base of the skull once again here, and you can see I'm kind of gently holding that ball in place and rolling across those tissues at the base of my skull. You might again get some crunchies out. It might be kind of tender to that pressure. These are thin muscles up there that actually work your eyes, so you could even play with eye movements as well as the head movements. Yes, no, side to side, all of those things. And then looking around, you'll feel that working those tissues under the ball as you're providing that self-myofascial release there. Next, we're going to work the traps and levator scap. So you're going to place it up under that meat of the trap at the base of the neck, top of the shoulder here. And then I'm going to go up into a bridged position. This is going to increase that pressure on the lacrosse ball. So you can dictate how much pressure by how high your hips rise. Now from there, I'm going to play with different arm movements and neck movements while the ball is just at that base of my arm, my neck and spine there where it's meeting my torso. From there, I can roll out side to side across the top of my scapula, out toward the shoulder and back toward the base of the neck. But I also want to roll between the shoulder blades, getting the rhomboids, mid trap, and lower trap. We have to keep in mind that that trap runs from the base of our skull all the way down into our mid back. So there's a big connection there between what's going on in our mid back and what's happening up in our cervical spine. Lastly, this is called a first rib mobilization. So I'm using a dowel to press into the tissues right behind my collarbone at the base of my neck. My one hand is keeping it in place. The other arm is going to be doing some movement, reaching to the side and up overhead. Here I'm trying to show that position, but it's that triangle, this soft tissues you can press in with your index finger, middle finger, right at the base of your neck and feel those tissues pressing in. That's where we want it, just in front of the traps and right behind the collarbone at the base of the neck. Now the rib here can get caught sometimes, causing issues with our neck and shoulders. Play with movements of the arm and head. All right, lastly, we want to start to stabilize our neck by building strength around it here. So here I'm using a yoga block, placing the back of my head up on that yoga block, and then I'm making a tripod with my elbows and head as I base off, pulling my shoulders down and back, and bring my chin to my Adam's apple, neutralizing out my spinal column. You can also start with this just from the floor against a mat and crush the mat into the floor. So don't feel like you have to use this elevated surface right away, you can build to that. Then we want to do this also in the rotated position, okay? So once again, same idea, pushing into that yoga block, using that as a base for my spine to press off of, and rotating and building strength in rotation in an isometric way. Hold a few seconds, relax, come back up for it, and do a few reps at a time. Build it up as you go. And lastly here with this position, we can turn belly down, pressing the forehead in as we keep our shoulders down and back behind us, reaching toward our hamstrings here. So take your time, press in, keep your shoulder blades down and back, isometrically hold against that block for a few seconds, and then relax. Once you've built up that isometric strength, we can start to take it into more end range positions of flexion, extension, and lateral flexion. So here I'm doing cervical flexion and also working my abs at the same time. So this is a strong hollow body position. You actually want to start the movement from the abdomen and curl up vertebrae by vertebrae until you get to your chin tucked all the way to your chest and sternum there. And hold as long as you're comfortable there. Reset and come back into it. And just like flexion, we can work extension here as well from a prone position. Again, extend the arms behind you, interlace those fingers, tight butt, abs braced against the floor. You're going to drop your chin to your chest, going into flexion, and then full extension, pulling back. The back of your skull should come into the shoulder blades there. And you want to flex into the shoulder blades tight for a few seconds, and then relax and let the head go back, chin to chest. And again, working all angles here from a bit of a side plank position. We want to make sure that shoulder is not getting pushed up into our ear or our neck here, so it's pushing the floor away, holding a good position. And then I'm laterally letting my neck flex and then contracting it, laterally flexing the ear to the shoulder on the other side. So working both directions here, allowing that head to hang, keeping that space from the shoulder to the neck, and then pulling up from there. We can also add bands to provide resistance to movements like this. So here I'm doing my chin tuck with the band, pulling my head up and then pulling it back to the floor. Or I can anchor that band and work rotation at the same time and hold my head in a good neutral position against it while I rotate away. So these are just different ideas that you can use to help to start to build strength using resistance bands, using isometrics, using the overall range of motion that your neck was given and building strength through those ranges. We just want to hit all those different angles. And lastly, I'll leave you with one of my favorites because this is also a good way to just stretch your neck out if you feel like you've got a lot of tension going on there. So what we're going to do is actually take load. Here I've got my 45s. I want to be able to fully shrug my shoulders up into my ears. And then I need to be able to relax and allow those shoulders to just get pulled down by the weight. So again, it's contract, relax method that we're using here, but I'm also working a shrug at the same time. So I'm gonna shrug, flex 5 to 10 seconds, keep my chin tucked to my Adam's apple, making sure I'm not getting my head in an awkward position, tongue to the roof of the mouth, nasal breathing, all that good stuff. And then just let the weight take you down as far as your shoulders will give way, and just give it that space. You could play with head and neck movements here. This can be an actually nice and relaxing one if you need it to be after a day where tension has built up in your shoulders. All right, and there you have it, how to build a strong, healthy, and pain-free neck. If you like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that big thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with a friend. Anyone who's always grabbing their neck, trying to stretch it out, who has issues there, pass it along their way. Make sure you share the love with them. If you're somebody who struggles with neck pain or shoulder issues that might be driving your neck pain, or any of those things that we mentioned previously, and you would like some direct help and guidance fully resolving these pains that you're experiencing and overall improving the health and function of your neck and shoulders, then what I want you to do right now is drop down below in the description to fill out a coaching application and schedule a mobility blueprint call. This is our opportunity to get on a Zoom call together so that I can take you through an assessment, gather the information I need to tailor a program specific to your needs, and then from there, lay out for you in full detail what that program looks like and answer any questions that you have at that time. And if that sounds good, drop down right now, schedule that call, and we'll get you moving in that direction. Last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance in the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine, and it does not get better than that. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. See you next week.